It is a tension that men are managing because they're hearing, be yourself, then being punished when they are. I'm not talking about dysfunction. I'm not talking about self-sabotaging behavior. I'm not talking about sinful behavior, but I'm talking about the authenticity of a person's personality not being accepted. And what can happen is some people can assume that if I'm not being disrespectful, that means I'm being respectful. The Shamgars in your life are fighting rejection they don't understand. Now, very often, conversations regarding rejection are relegated to one gender. And when the truth of the matter is, rejection is not gender specific. Everyone deals with rejection because rejection is a refusal to be accepted for who you really are. Come on now. And the word rejection has etymological roots in a Latin word which means to throw backwards. So whenever somebody experiences rejection, how they manage rejection dictates and determines whether they keep moving forward or whether they're thrown backwards, whether they evolve into the authenticity of who they are or whether or not they live a life where they are selectively deciding who get what version of them. Y'all aren't talking to me in this church. It is a tension that men are managing because they're hearing, be yourself, then being punished when they are. I'm not talking about dysfunction. I'm not talking about self-sabotaging behavior. I'm not talking about sinful behavior, but I'm talking about the authenticity of a person's personality not being accepted. And what can happen is some people can assume that if I'm not being disrespectful, that means I'm being respectful. That's almost like saying if I'm not being mean, I'm being nice. See, I got you to catch this now. Rejection is the refusal to accept. Just because I'm tolerating doesn't mean I've accepted. And everybody, I don't even have time to deal with this. Yes, I do. Even Jesus refused to linger in environments where he was tolerated. In Mark chapter 6, he said a prophet is not without honor except for in his own home. And he said he did not do many mighty miracles there except lay his hands on a few sick people and heal them. Rejection locks up the miracle in a man for you. They rejected Jesus and said, is this not the carpenter's son? They had no idea what was in him. They had no idea what was in him. He didn't look like what was in him. Rejection. All right. Okay. All right. I'm testing the water. You straight? Hopefully this gives some insight to some confusion. Sisters, when you're seeing a version of him that seems more alive and jovial when he's with male counterparts. And you can be wondering, why don't I get that version of you? It's because they accept that version of me. Somebody say rejection. See, I got to move on, but it's important. Rejection produces wounds, and the wounds produce ways. So some of the ways are tied to wounds, and some of the wounds are tied to rejection. So you can't fix the ways until you deal with the wounds. And the reason Jesus I ain't got time. The reason Jesus was able to faithfully and fruitfully carry out his ministry is because the Father proactively gave him what he needed before he began public ministry. So that the rejection from men did not wound his soul in a way that would pervert his purpose, because the Father had already affirmed him before men started to reject him. When he's baptized in the Jordan River, the Holy Spirit descends on him in the form of a dove, and a voice from heaven says, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I'm well pleased." Before he performed one miracle, before he opened one blind eye, before he raised Lazarus from the dead, the Father said, "I'm pleased with you. And my pleasure is not tied to your performance." So he's not living his life for affirmation. He's living his life out of affirmation.
Do you know that the quality of your life is based on the quality of your decisions? And the quality of your decisions is based on the quality of information that you have. So that means you need reliable sources of information, and the most reliable source of information in the world is the Bible. But you know what? Most people don't understand it. And if you want to understand the Bible, God is enough, but Sunday is not. I want to help you understand. I want to help you interpret and apply. I want to help you explain the Bible better. This is why I'm inviting you to be a part of my tribe called Bible U.
And some men are dealing with rejection, and they've never heard their father say, "I'm well pleased." Have you ever asked a man in your life, did your daddy ever tell you he was proud? Did you hear what I just said? They're dealing with rejection. They don't understand. We're not asking for a cookie. We're not asking for a party. Just understand it. Can I give you number two? I only got a few minutes left. All right, here it is. Here it is. Here's number two. Number two is this. Y'all sure? I'm going to have to spin the block on this in maybe next year or the year after and talk about some of the ways. Because some of you are dealing with ways in men you don't understand. And some of those ways, oh God. Can I just share one thing real quick before I go into all right, hear this. Because, watch this, rejection doesn't always show up just in wounds. The wounds produce ways. And one of the ways rejection produces in men is it makes some men risk avoidant. A risk avoidant man is an indecisive one. I ain't got time. It's a man who won't make a decision. It's a man who won't take charge. It's a man who won't lead. It's because, it can be because there have been seasons and situations in his life where he's attempted to do so. And it's led to rejection. And now the rejection has made him timid because he's so afraid to make a wrong decision. He won't make any decision. God leads, but you got to decide. Will you follow the leading? Are you hearing what I'm saying? Can I just say one more thing about that? This is why I don't have a daughter, but I guess I got a spiritual family with daughters. But this is why I would tell my daughter, I would say, hey, now listen. You will never find a woundless man. So what I need you to decide is what wound you're willing to live with. Are y'all going to help me preach on this side? Yeah, if you are looking for a woundless man, you will not find one. So you got to be honest with you and ask, now which one can I live with? Because, can Because, sis, you're not his healing. What's broken in him, a hug can't fix. What's broken in him, y'all not talking to me. What's broken in him, a waistline can't fix. You can provide a space for healing. You can be a safe person for him to heal with. But even Jesus couldn't heal people who didn't want it. John 5, do you want to be made well? I can fix him. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let me know how that worked out. Go ahead. I got to get out of here. Number 2, men are fighting weaknesses they didn't pick. Did you hear what I just said? So there are 3 primary words the Bible uses when it comes to inappropriate behavior for believers: sin, transgression, and iniquity. Sin, at least in the New Testament, or in the Greek version of the whole Bible, which is called the Septuagint, the Greek word there is harmatia, from which we get the study harmatiology, which is the study of sin. It simply means to miss the mark. I'm playing darts, I'm aiming at the bullseye, and I miss. I tried to do right, but I missed. Right? Am I making sense? Am I making sense? Wave at me. This is okay. You're like, okay, before the conversation, you're talking to yourself, okay, I'm going to handle this in a godly way. Then you get in that conversation, they say something, you're like, then they keep saying something, you're like, Jesus. And then they say something that's the straw that breaks the camel back, and the next thing you know, you're like, God, in my heart, I was trying to do the right thing, but I missed.